So today I'm going to be showing you how to use rubrics in Google Classroom. The rubrics that you've been given are these ones here. There is a range of language, literature, and a scheme that we use at our school, which is a simply question 5 question called Writing Wednesdays. We've got the 2 full language paper rubrics from which you can extract the individual questions if you want, and the same with literature. We've got the AO1 to 3 questions, the AO1 to 4 questions, the poetry anthology questions, the unseen poetry analysis question, and the unseen poetry comparison question. All of these are available for you to use. I'm going to show you how to use them now. So when you go onto Google Classroom, if you go onto classwork, create, and create an assignment, doesn't matter what the title is, so I'm just going to call mine demo for the sake of argument. One thing, once you've typed the title in and you've given it a second, the rubric button down here will become available. After you've added all your resources, your instructions, etc., I would advise now that you go to import from sheets or reuse rubric once you've started to do it a few times. So on import from sheets, I happen to have it in my recent spreadsheets, but what you can do is go to your Google Drive or wherever you've saved these and search for the title of those sheets. So for the sake of argument, I'm going to have a go at the literature AO1 to 3 question, which I'll now add. If you'll see, it now brings up the title of the assignment along with the total score, which is calculated from the rubric. So this rubric gives us 5 different criteria. We've got the AO3 for context, the 2 sections for AO2, and the 2 sections for AO1, and the total coming out of 30 as per the GCSE spec. All you do then is press save, give Google a second to work out. Like I said, add all your resources, and one of the crucial things that you need to do now is to change the points total to match the rubric points. This will allow Google to automatically mark and update, ready for you to just press return multiple submissions and save even more time. Once you've then assigned that, so if I just create a quick Google Doc there for our invisible students to answer on, you assign it, it saves it, it does what it needs to do, and then when you go into your classroom, you've got demo, you can view the assignment. Once the students have completed it, you'll see it appear. But then when you go into mark 1 of the student's work, what will appear is on the screen, on the right-hand side, you'll see a whole section where you can just click boxes and tick them as you go through. If you want to edit the rubrics, not something I'd advise unless you're feeling fairly confident about it, there are specific ways in which you need to edit them. So going back onto that AO1 to 4 that we've used already, once you've opened it up in the spreadsheet, you can see the sort of the background behind it. How we have the AO1 task criteria, then that's the subtitle on the criteria describing to the student, because students can see the rubric in more detail, what this 6 marks is asking for. Then within each of these, we've got a short headline for how to get 6 out of 6, which will be convincing critical analysis and exploration in this case. And then a more detailed one for when you're marking or for when the student's answering it, they can really see a bit more detail. And it comes mostly from the mark scheme, from the GCSE mark scheme, but there are some edits on there that a previous user has done. If you were to edit this, and if you were to, for example, use this for Key Stage 3 or a lower ability set, you may want to take some of the higher grades off. So that would therefore automatically update the points value of the assignment for you, but it would also reduce that headroom for fear that some of the bottom sets traditionally have. The way you do this is you have to select the number and the subheading and the detail for the things you want to delete. So if I wanted to make this out of 4 instead of out of 6, you would select the cells you want to delete, right click, and then when you go down to delete cells, ensure that you click Shift Left. That makes it then out of 4. At the top here, make sure it says Save to Drive, otherwise your edits will not have been done. For the sake of this video and for the sake of my own sanity, I'm going to undo that before I forget that. Like I said, they're all here for you. The Writing Wednesdays rubric that I was alluding to earlier is simply a question 5. My apologies for the odd boxes that appear. It sometimes does and sometimes doesn't appear. There are full language paper rubrics where I've had to break down the questions. If you are thinking about wanting just one for question 2, that's fine. Go ahead and edit that and add on your 1 to 8 rather than 1 to 4. But I will give you a word of caution in that, for example, question 4 down here, out of 20, I've had to edit that because the marks here, you're only allowed up to 10 of these columns. So I've split this down in using the bullet points on the mark scheme, doing it in more of a way that an examiner would mark it. It gives you that opportunity for thoroughness, for rigor, for that detail that the rubrics actually, as well as speeding your work up, actually give you the opportunity to mark a lot more thoroughly and really give some bespoke feedback very quickly. Thanks for listening.